quarter pound and a kilo. Half ounce, quarter pound and a kilo.
Yeah, I know
Damn,
that. I
Michael.
was there that day, but we can't talk about that one.
Music Buzz Live Radio here on World Viral TV. We are live with Tim Cullen from Evergreen Apothecary. We're right here smack in the middle of Pod Talk. Chad, Drew, Chris Thomas, and myself. Moose, thank you very much for joining us. So, Tim, as we were talking before, you guys have 2 new stores opening up in Aurora. We've got the Harvest Company here in Denver. We've got Evergreen right next door to us at Herman's. I know all of us are very familiar with Evergreen.
Yeah.
But let's get the lowdown again on when we can expect these Aurora stores to be open.
So the first Aurora store that will open is on Parker and Yale. It's we're waiting on permits from the city to start construction. Probably another couple weeks of that. Hoping to open end of February, beginning of March, and then the other new Aurora store on Jordan and Arapahoe likely be open sometime this summer. So
Okay. Are you guys staffed up at those places? Are you guys looking for a job fair or something
we
like that?
are. Well, I'm hiring right now. I am hiring. We just hired 3 people yesterday that'll start training next week.
Okay.
I anticipate we'll hire about 20 people in the next 2 to 3 weeks here, and we have to get everyone trained so the stores don't open with a bunch of newbies. Everyone knows what's going on, and then we have another 35,000 square foot grow that'll be open in the next handful of months. So I'm looking for retail growers all across the board, more trimmers, the whole 9 yards.
Cool. And
Do you mind me throwing out real quick how people could apply? Because, I mean, you know how the job fair went.
Sure,
Everybody's
sure.
going to want to.
There's
so.
millions of resumes. Yeah, drop off a resume at the store, make it look special, spell check it. That's how it goes down. We'll call and start interviewing people. It's going on right now.
has there been some pretty epically typoed out resumes?
There's been some
coming
pretty
in?
hilarious ones, man.
I imagine.
Really have been. But some funny is good too, though. But just not funny with the misspellings.
Yeah, not like, it's got to be funny laughing with you, not funny laughing at you.
Right. I was a high school teacher for 10 years before I started doing this. So
What was the
Hip on the
transition
grammar.
like of teaching into the MMJ business?
it was very different. That's a great question.
Yeah.
I was in Europe, and my wife and I had rented a camper van, and we were traveling around for the summer, and I wanted to start this warehouse, and I woke up in the middle of the night kind of freaking out. My intent was to not quit teaching. I was going to teach in the morning and through the afternoon and build this warehouse out in the evening, and I went, oh my God, that's a 14-hour day every day. And it was actually my wife who said, why don't you quit your job and see how this goes? And with her support, I jumped in with 2 feet, and now we had our 5-year anniversary in October, and so on to year 6, and I don't think I'll be a teacher again.
That's
I've
Well,
met
I'm a
her. and
different
she's-
kind of
there you
teacher.
go.
yeah, it's a
I've met
success
her. His
story.
wife is a damn sweetheart, first and foremost. But second of all, I have a crazy question for you, which is, how many of your students have you ran into? What's it like when someone is like, what's up, Mr. Cullen?
It's happened a couple times. It honestly has. I really think it's
Good
kind
question, Chad.
It's a little awkward on both sides, I think.
They're always like, I knew that guy was cool, man.
right,
I knew
right.
that
I
guy
remember
was
back in
cool.
the day,
Well,
he was
I'm-
such a cool teacher.
I'm Facebook friends with a couple of them still, but the first time was at Evergreen Apothecary, and I was upstairs in the bud station with Ralph, and I said, hey, Ralph, do you know that's Elvin down there? And he said, why would I know that? And I said, well, you wouldn't, but he was in my second period biology class, so he's definitely going to know who I am. It was a little bit awkward, but we got
Awesome.
through it. So
All right. Has it been a lot? No.
no, a handful over the
Just a
years, just a handful over the years. So,
Right.
but
So when marketing a store like Evergreen or Harvest Company, what are some of the biggest challenges? I know we talked a little bit about the Green Mile campaign and the feedback from the Antique Row people, and hopefully we'll be able to push forward with all of that. I know Herman's is totally on board with the Green Mile. What else is stepped in front of any potential action?
there are so many places in the cannabis industry now that it's going more mainstream that you could spin around grabbing shiny objects, and marketing is one of those things also. What started off as pretty JV marketing has really stepped up a lot in the last couple of years, and we've had to step up our game as well. So the new ads that we're running are more lifestyle focused, really
Okay.
cool Colorado things that people are doing. The next ad campaign that we're going to do is going to be really specifically focused on the employees that make it all happen. In Colorado, the grows are like the Wizard of Oz behind the veil. No one knows the love that goes into this product, and we have so many fantastic people who customers never see. So we're going to start doing some in-depth employee profiles in our advertising too, so people get to meet the growers that spend day in and day out working on this product. We're kind of like Disney World in the sense that for every Mickey Mouse you see out front, there's 5 people behind the scenes that make that happen, and those people put their heart and soul into it every day. So, and
it's very, very true what he's talking about too, because like even working at the shop, all of us, you're almost on a stage in a way to the world. You have to sit there, you have to explain so much to people that some people don't know nothing, you know what I mean? And you're sitting there almost on stage acting it out, but with everybody, there's no way that I'd be able to stand there and be able to sell the weed or the products that we have in the shop without knowing that there's a solid team behind you. And the products that Evergreen Apothecary, Colorado Harvest Company put out, they're just consistent. That's the way that I've always said it. I was a patient of theirs, a member of theirs for many years before I ended up working there, and I have watched them grow. And along the way, there is so many options, and everybody knows that there's options. And there's people all over the city that know that they need to drive from Highlands Ranch or Conifer or Brighton even to come and see us because the consistency is so on. And the people that we have behind the scenes, as he's talking about, deserve so much recognition for such.
So do you have a little notice disclaimer when people apply that you have to pass a pre-employment drug screen?
Oh, there's drug testing at Evergreen Apothecary and Colorado Harvest Company. It's just you're not allowed to fail them.
That's it.
Right.
Yep.
As it should be.
Yep, for sure. It's just like the hardest part of the job is having to test the products so that we can.
We do drug testing, no question about it.
All right.
Earlier we
That's
talked
the hard
about
part.
all the media that you've been getting and how hard you've been working marketing wise. But I think coming from this perspective here, for you being a sponsor of the station that we run here, the independent spirit that you represent is impressive, man. And we just appreciate you in general. I have nothing but gratitude and having you here is a extreme pleasure, man.
Oh, thanks so much, fellas. No, my pleasure.
It's cool to be
The
able
vibe around the
to
office
be
has
right
been
here
high.
to see the worlds of the cannabis world and the music world kind of come together. You know what
absolutely.
I mean? And it's awesome to have such a good man, forward-thinking men in front of us, dude, that are leading the way.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the music scene and the cannabis scene have been together for a long, long time, and I imagine we'll have a happy marriage for many years to come.
Yeah, I don't see a divorce happening in that world.
No.
I think it's
that's
been going
one
on for
marriage
lots of
that's
years
good for
before
sure.
we were even part of it.
Well,
so.
I mean, in addition to that, I mean, now the cannabis has been legal for over a year in Colorado. I don't think the stereotype really applies anymore. You see people walk into the store every day that are wearing slacks and dress suits, that are swinging by after work. When people get a choice about how they want to relax at night, now that cannabis is legal in Colorado, a lot of them choose cannabis, and it's just awesome.
How do you see this next year going?
I am so excited about 2015. I could not be more pumped about it.
Exciting.
You look at my hair; it's going to all be gray by the end of 2015. But yeah, we're going to open 2 more stores. We have a brand new big grow facility that's opening up. We have Levitt Pavilion starting. The Green Mile is going to launch this year.
How do you think the industry is going to go within Colorado?
It's
changing and evolving every day.
It's changing
anyway.
and evolving. You're absolutely right. It's getting more and more professional. The advertising gets better. The marketing, the feel and style of the stores, the product keeps getting better. Grows keep expanding. Smaller stores get bought out and consolidated into bigger groups. It's changing. It's changing all the time, and we're just growing with it as well. So.
And with all the other states that are on board, how do you feel? How does it feel to be in the forefront of the nation that way, leading that way?
It's been exciting. I'm really proud of Colorado. Colorado took a really brave step into a new world here, and the sky didn't fall. Children go to school every day. People still go to work and have jobs. Cannabis is legal. It's raised a lot of money for the schools. It's raised a lot of money for the state, and I think the naysayers are gonna have to take a break for a minute here. It's working out just fine in Colorado. And Colorado's formed a model that can be replicated anywhere in the world. And tax it and legalize it has been something people have been saying for a lot of years now. And Colorado took the first step and put their necks out there, taxed it and legalized it, and guess what? It worked.
And really, there
it's
hasn't
amazing.
been too many negatives. I mean, honestly, the biggest things, I guess, have been the edibles.
Yeah, edibles seems to be the only bad press. It
And
really
they've been evolving even this whole year. How do you see the edibles going?
The edible thing is interesting because I really don't think the state of Colorado, when they were forming the regulations, really thought too much about how popular edibles were going to be. And as it turns out, they're incredibly popular. It's an adult product that's purchased in a very controlled environment. I think people need to step up and be good parents. If you have kids at home, you need to lock your cannabis up and not let them go through it. Smart Colorado is the opposition that's led a lot of the negative publicity about it. And you are an idiot if you take your medicated gummy bears and leave them around on your countertop and have kids around. Of course they're going to eat them. But you leave the store with child-resistant containers and well-marked bottles. There's absolutely no reason that children are getting a hold of these things.
You got a liquor cabinet.
Exactly.
You got
Your
a
liquor
liquor
is
cabinet.
not sold in a child-proof container. I mean, that's one of the most interesting things about cannabis legalization. Tobacco and alcohol would likely be Schedule I drugs. They have no medicinal value. They have a high tendency for abuse. Cannabis is neither of those things and is a Schedule I drug. And I imagine you're going to see that change in the next handful of
I
years.
think there's already
too.
been movements to have that change.
Yeah, there
right?
has
I
definitely
remember
been
reading
some
about
crazy-
that.
But I mean, well, you got to understand what he's talking about, though. In the whole life of cannabis, the only thing that's been negative that's under scrutiny out of the whole thing really has been the edibles.
Right.
I mean, it's not like there's been a lot of people out driving and killing people. It's not like there's been people out, murdering their wives and creating all this violence that alcohol does. You know what I mean?
Interestingly enough, I spoke with a physician at Children's Hospital, and he said, if you want to protect children, get the trampolines out of here. He said, we see more trampoline injuries than anything related to cannabis.
Yeah, sure.
That's awesome.
All right, Tim. Well, anything else people need to know?
Come on down to Evergreen Apothecary and say,
World Viral.
and you will get 10% off.
Hey, yo.
All right, Tim. Thank you so much for
Thanks
joining
for
us.
having
We
me
hope
on,
to see you
fellas.
soon.
Love the show. Appreciate it.
We'll be back with the Humbuckers in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned to Music Buzz Live Radio.
World Viral.